Hi, Jenna.
Hey,
It's me. How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
Oh, good.
Good, good.
How are the twins?
Oh, they're good. I'm real done with summer.
Where are you located again?
We're in Nashville.
Oh, cute. Nice.
Yeah. So it's been good, but I've kept them home pretty much all summer. They haven't done a lot of camps and stuff. We've been traveling and we've been home doing stuff, and I'm about done. I need them to go back to school so I can get some more things done. So
Wow.
yeah. How about you? How's summer going for you?
Good. I'm in New York
Good.
City. It's been a weird summer. It took a long time to get rid of the winter, and then it's
Yeah.
been raining nonstop.
Yeah,
So,
we had kind of the same thing. It was really cool for a long time, especially like our lake water was really cold, like well into June, which is unusual. But now it's like 98 degrees outside and hot and gross. So, all right, let me go ahead. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. And I know a couple of people may filter in, but I want to be respectful of everybody's time and kind of get us moving a little bit. So today what I'm going to talk about is Canva's Dream Lab, which is their kind of AI-powered image generation, design generation. They also have like a code generator. I'm going to talk mostly about the image generation today because I find it to be a pretty underutilized piece of their app that they have. And so it can really speed up graphics creation, especially stock photos. Most stock photos today, they've been used a million times on a million different websites. And then beyond that, it still all skews very corporate, tends to trend very male, not as ethnically diverse a lot of times. So what's great about something like Canva's Dream Lab is that you can get visuals that match your brand, your audience, that look like what you want to put out there without, having to pay for stock photos or dig through a million different ones. So that's kind of what I'm going to focus on today. There is a design component of it too, and I'll show you a little bit of that. Yeah, so I'm gonna screen share and I'll kind of walk you through some of it. But a couple things to know about it. So first of all, Canva's AI, all of Canva's AI is run off of the open AI system. So that's ChatGPT. And so that's important to know because if you're in ChatGPT and you're using image generation tools, a lot of that is essentially coming from Canva and vice versa. Same thing if you are using Dream Lab and you go into ChatGPT and you ask it really specifically for a prompt for Canva's Dream Lab, it does a really great job because those are operating off the same AI system. So that's just something to know in advance. The two work really seamlessly together. And that's not to say you couldn't use, Claude or Perplexity or something else to get those prompts, but just know that Canva and OpenAI are essentially working off each other's systems. So that's something to kind of know as you go forward. So I'm going to screen share and show you first where to get to this because it can be a little confusing sometimes. So when you first, so obviously this is kind of your Canva, when you log in, this is what you're looking at essentially. And then this Canva AI tool is over here on this left sidebar. And you can access it and use it in the free version. There's limits on it. And I think after a certain amount, you have to start paying for image generation. On the pro version, you get, I think it's 500 credits a month, which is pretty significant. I've never actually gone through all of those. So you can get a pretty long way with the pro version with the 500 credits. So when you log in, you're going to see, and when you come to Canva AI, you're going to see this screen. And so you've got a couple of choices here. You've got design for me, and that is going to be if you want it to create a social graphic. If you want it to create, something like a flyer or something like that, you would use design for me. Create an image is what I really like, and I use a lot. I think it does a great job with that. This is kind of what I'm talking about with stock photo creation or website imagery, that kind of stuff. Creating an image works really well. And then I'll talk in later sessions about the creative video clip. This one's very new. It's running off of VEO3, which is Google's new image video generator. But they're very short, and honestly, it times out a lot. I'm not really pushing this yet. But Design for Me and Create an Image work really great. So let's start with create an image. So if you click this, what it's going to give you is it's going to give you a style. So you've got all of these choices of different types of styles. So for stock photos, there's a stock photo option. There's cinematic, you've got 3D renderings, you've got lots of choices in here. Or you can leave it at none and kind of see what it comes up with. That's one of the things I really like about Canva's Dream Lab is we hear a lot about like AI, taking away our creativity and our ability to think. And what I think is actually great is that you can kind of describe what you're trying to get to and see what kind of creative ideas it comes up with. And you can work back and forth with it as a tool. So sometimes I click none just to kind of see what it does. Smart is what it sounds like. It tries to match what it thinks the style that you want is. But I use stock photo a lot, particularly for website imagery, stuff like that, stock photo kind of style. And then you've got this size selector. So you could put it in, story format. You can put it in 1:1. 3x4 is the new Instagram layout size. So you've got a lot of choices here. And you can always, once you export or create this image, you can always take it back into Canva and do resize or add text, things like that. And that would be one of my pro tips here is it does do an okay job putting text on the image, but just for simplicity and getting to the desired result faster, I'm a big fan of literally telling it what I want as far as the image and literally saying like, do not use any words or no text, and then going back and overlaying that text. I think 9 times out of 10 you get there faster, but sometimes it does a really great job. So in here, you can get as descriptive as you want. There's also, the microphones. So you can just kind of talk to it, tell it what you want. And again, you can go back to ChatGPT and kind of ask it, for the prompt that you're wanting. So I was playing with this week to do, some graphics for this webinar. And so here's a prompt that I used. I asked it, for a realistic, high quality image. I asked it for diverse skin tones, which it gave me. And then there's some, kind of best practice image generation stuff that I put in here about, I think actually it wasn't in this one, but there's another one where I ask it to, use natural skin tones and avoid waxy looking skin. That tends to help get away from that kind of AI generated waxy looking feature. So, and it did a pretty good job, right? Like there's things here that like, I would want to, the screen is backwards, what's happening there? But again, you can export it. This is like super usable right here for my brand. I could export that. I could, change this logo in the back in Canva, lots of really usable things here. So that's one way to use it. These are more like stock photos, things like that you would maybe want to use it for. It does a great job for mock-ups, particularly if you're working on like a course or maybe an app or something like that. You can get some really cool like mock-up imagery, and I gave it very, minimal detail on here. And then here's actually a good example of one where I did ask it for text. I gave it the exact headline that I wanted. I gave it, that I wanted it to be a Colorado home, and it did a good job there of, it's got some mountains in the background. This does look very, respectably Colorado for what I'm doing. And it did a good job with the text. It got this all right. And then you see down here, it kind of went a little off. But what I did is I exported this back into Canva, and you can just open an editor just like this. And now I've just come in here, right? And now I can use it like I would normally use Canva, where I can, click and remove this. I can use the background remover if I didn't like the mountains. Lots of choices. I can change the colors in the background here. So if I wanted it to be a little lighter, a little brighter, not as dark or darker, lots of choices. But it was a good starting point. This was for a blog image, and I didn't have to go look for the stock photo of a Colorado home. I didn't have to put the text in manually. It did a really good job with that. I was really happy with this output. So I'll go back into here. So these are all, various prompts, that I've done with it. It does a pretty good job with coloring pages. And then I'm going to talk kind of about too, like brand imagery and some really interesting stuff. So I have a client, and we were just looking at one of their images, but I have a client. He is a roofer in Denver area, highly competitive market. It's very hard to stand out there. So we are using, and I'll switch over here. So we're using this kind of like hero storyline, superhero, roofing superhero. And so this landing page that you're looking at, every one of these graphics, so this like background graphic here, not this one was done by a graphic designer, but this one, and this one, and this one, these were all Canva Dream Lab. And I'll show you the prompts here in a minute, but it did a really great job. I asked it for this kind of like comic book style, really highly stylized imagery, and I got it. And this, literally every graphic on this landing page that we did here came from Dream Lab. So I'll go back over there and show you those prompts now. But that's where I think it really shines, is, the ability to get some really cool creative stuff like that, normally you'd have to hire a graphic designer to do, or you'd have to find the imagery that already works. There's a lot of zebras in here. We, about 2 months ago, we had a zebra escape here outside of Nashville, and it literally ran amok around the city for weeks. It was like a whole ordeal. And so every business capitalized on like the zebra, and lots of marketing. I did lots of ads around the zebra. It was pretty great. But these all came from here too. And I played with this a lot, but my partner is a lawyer, so we made a zebra and his law firm name, and the zebra is carrying, I don't know, some sort of articles of incorporation or something. I can't remember how we posted it. But again, all done through here. This is all really custom imagery that nobody else has, and that's what I like about it, is you're not going to see the same stock photos over and over and over again. So I got to get through a bazillion zebras. Here we go. All right, so this is where I was playing, with these, really stylized comic book hero visuals. So, in this one, I asked it for, create a comic book style graphic of an insurance agent fill-in, and I got lots of usable stuff. Like, I think we've used this for an ad graphic. This was great. These are all trending really well. We've got, another one. So this is where I think it's really cool. Like if you need some really unique imagery, something that nobody else has, I had it do full comic strips for me. So lots of really cool stuff that you can do with the image generator. So this is all on the image generation side, which I do think is the strongest of all of their tools right now. But we'll look at design for me too. So design for me, when you click that one, you're going to get all of these options. So you can say social media, and then it's going to ask you about, which format you might want. You've got presentations, marketing. I think it does a really good job with presentations. I think it does a good job with social media. I'm less convinced on really complex things like flyers or brochures or things that are going to have a lot of elements. But for simple social media, it works pretty well. So for instance, to promote this webinar, I needed, just kind of a quick story graphic. And I'm obviously always, I want your brand to be authentic. I want, custom, stuff that you're creating for your graphics. But sometimes we just don't have time, right? And the amount of graphics needed these days to stay, kind of relevant. I don't know why I want me click this today. That's interesting. So I was going to show you some old prompts, but it's not wanting to go there right now. So we'll go here. So for design for me, we could say, for instance, create, and I'll do social media, we'll do Instagram stories. So create a webinar promo post for a webinar. And we'll just see what we get. That's obviously very basic, not a lot of detail there. But then it does its little thing. And it's going to give me several options. And a lot of times what I find is, like, maybe I don't get exactly what I'm looking for, but I get, you know, it kind of sparks some ideas for me, some ideas of like, oh, I hadn't thought of that. I actually kind of like this. This is kind of fun. And then down here, you can hit more designs. If you're like, I don't like any of these, you can hit more designs. It'll generate some new ones for you. You can do it. This is just a suggestion that it's giving me, which is not a bad one. And then you can also change your color options here too. And so once you get into these, like, let's say I liked this one. You can come over here and you could change, you know, the color palette from recent designs. Like if you've got a brand kit in here, like I use a lot of purple, so I could put it in purple. But the beauty of it is that you can use the editor then to go in and further change up anything you need to change up. So, right, like it did some in purple, but like I'm going to want to go in here and maybe change like the color of the background, or I need to change, you know, it did a really good job here with the text. But you could change anything you wanted to here. If I needed to add anything, you could resize here. So it's like I did this in story form, but oh, just kidding, I actually needed it in 1x1. So now I just come and find my one. Change it into anything or presentation mode, whatever you wanted to change it in. But you can resize it really easily. So I find this to be really just a great, I'm sorry, I wasn't sharing that tab, I'm over here. So this is where you would take it in, and then you could edit it and, you know, change if I needed this to be in black. I can change that. I could change the background color, anything like that I want to do. So again, I find these to be really great starting points. There's a million templates already in Canva, but if you're anything like me, I see a lot of the same templates used over and over again. And so what this does is this is creating something entirely new and fresh that in theory nobody else is using yet. So I like it for that. I think that it gives, you know, your brand a little bit of a boost when you've got something new and exciting and different. And then I think it's great for those really cool, like, you know, again, the superhero storyline or the zebra or anything like that. You can really create some cool stuff without having to hire a graphic designer or without having to dig through all their templates and find one that matches your brand. It's really just a great starting point. And I think that once you kind of play with it, you get a good feel for like what it's going to do and what it's not going to do. It is not a perfect tool. It's definitely not a like toss all of your social media in and get everything perfect right away. But I think it cuts down on your design time a lot. So that's kind of the nuts and bolts of it. Again, I think design for me, create an image, those are the two that I think do the best right now. But you know, the others are coming along and it just keeps getting stronger. This version right now is running off of GPT 4.0. I expect within the next week that we see GPT 5. I think Monday, we'll see. And it may get 10 times better when that happens. So just play with it. I think it can really speed up your design time. I think it can give you some fun, creative ideas that you might not have thought of on your own. And it just cuts down on your graphic production time in general. So that's kind of my spiel on it. Happy to answer any questions about Canva or the Streamlab. Happy to answer questions about anything else. Anything you guys got, feel free. Yes.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm a little confused with Streamlab. What is Streamlab?
Yep. So it's their AI tool, and they literally used to call it Canva Dream Lab. I'm still calling it that, but it's this Canva AI. It's this whole tool.
It's the same.
Yep. Same thing. Yep. Yep.
And
yeah.
And are you able to, let's say, insert your color palette and the fonts that you use so it remembers and it applies every time?
You can. So within here, you could always like give it your specific hex codes, like use, these colors. If you're using Canva Pro, you can build your brand kit as well, which I strongly recommend. It makes everything better. But when you have to go here and then here and then here. So you can build all of these brand kits. And so like here's, my agency. I've got all my hex colors. I've got, my fonts. You can put images, this is like the imagery that I typically use, icons. You can put everything in here. So right now it doesn't in here. Like I can't say like use like my brand kit. It's not good enough for that yet. I hope that's coming, and I'm sure that it is. But you could definitely use the hex code. So you could definitely say like use this. You can also use this add media. So if you've got like a logo or something in here, I don't know if I have a logo in here that I've got handy. I don't. But if you've got a logo, you could put it in here. If you've got a specific like font or image that you wanted to use, like a brand photo, you can put that in there. It does a really good job. And also with create an image, you can put like if you've got like a stock image you really like, but it's a male and you wanted a female, or it's a child, you need an adult, you can put that in there and tell it to like recreate the same kind of style, and it does a really good job with that also. So and honestly, like I like taking my own brand photos or things like that, and then going through these different like sketch and vibrant and stuff like that, and just creating different versions of them. That can be really helpful. Lots of cool stuff you can do in here to really just give you more options within your image generation toolkit. But yes, I hope that the brand kit, attaching the brand kit, is coming. I'm sure that it is. That would be hugely helpful. But honestly, like, and I've played a lot with doing like the hex codes and saying, use these colors, and it does do a good job. But I honestly just prefer to get like the design that I want or the image that I want, and then I'll go into Canva and tweak and overlay and stuff like that. But it's just getting so much better. I would say 2 months ago, I didn't trust it with text at all. And now it's doing a pretty good job. So I would say give it another month or two, and we're really going to see those kind of advancements with the colors and stuff like that. But generally speaking, if you tell it, what colors to use, it does a good job with it.
Do you use the Adobe Pro account that also you can put like your brand kit?
Yeah, you certainly can. I don't use Adobe anymore. I've moved entirely to Canva for design stuff, but you certainly can. I take that back. We use Adobe for logos because you can't trademark anything that comes out of Canva. So if we're doing a logo, then I often use Adobe. But for the most part, I let my Adobe suite go because there's just more functional tools out there that I prefer these days.
And one more question.
Yeah.
If I purchase my a specific font,
Mm-hmm.
can I enter it to Canva?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
And it would stay saved.
Yeah. Okay. You would just upload it. You can upload it in the brand files or whatever, and attach it. So yeah, you could absolutely do that. So yeah, I think it's a great tool. I think enough people don't use it. It's as opposed to the kind of old method with Canva, right? Is like I need a social graphic. I go here. I go to templates. I look through social. I'm digging through all of these like various templates to see what I might want. But I think, you know, if you've got a little bit of an idea in your head, or even if you don't, and you just want to see, you know, what it might create for you, that's where I think it's fun, is you can really enhance your own creativity and your brand's creativity by just seeing what you get, which is always kind of fun. And sometimes you get, you know, not what you want, and that's fine. And then, you know, you hit more designs, or you try again, you change your prompts. But anything as far as prompting that works kind of universally in the broader image prompting world, like, you know, I like realistic skin tone. I say that a lot. Avoid, you know, waxy skin, natural facial expressions. I say a lot. All of those things work really well in Streamlab too. So essentially treat this this prompt box the same way you would treat ChatGPT, because that's exactly what it's running off of. All right. Any other questions? Any other things I can help with or show you?
I have more
Well,
questions.
go ahead.
No, you go ahead, please.
Sorry, I was just going to say that this is great. I didn't even know that this was a thing in Canva.
I know, nobody does, and that's why I want to talk about it. I think it speeds up so much. Blog graphics, super great for that. And the thing I like the most about it is now we're not seeing all of the same visuals everywhere. You know, for the long time I was seeing the same Canva templates over and over again, the same stock photos and websites over and over again. And this is really, you know, kind of giving us new options there. So.
Yeah, thank you for sharing this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Marla, do you have another question?
I wanted to ask you,
yeah.
where do you get good stock photos? Because I also been seeing the same, and so I'm trying to launch a new travel company. And they all look like, you know, like it's a set photo and it's not natural. And I'm starting and I don't have that type of photos. And for something like this, I feel like it has to look real. So I prefer an actual photo.
Actual photo, yep.
But
yeah. So, you know, and Canva has a significant library of, you know, stock photos. So you could certainly, you know, come in here and just get, you know, actual, you know, photos depending on what you're looking for. The other options I really like, yeah. So like if, let's do.
My understanding was that I could not use whatever I had on Canvas, I could not use to like sell on my business. I don't know. I'm so confused about what I can use or not for my website.
Yeah. So there's a couple of details there. The first is whether or not you're paying for Canva. If you're paying for it, then this little crown thing right here is what's giving you that license to use it. Okay. What you often find with individual photos, and let me just search one. So let's say like, you know, you said travel. So let's just grab something. Okay, so hypothetically, we want this, and we're going to use it. And now this is our photo. Sometimes it will not let you export just the raw photo. And then the way you get around that are a couple of things. One, you could stick your logo on it, and now it's yours. So, right, like now I've got, not my logo, but now it's mine. That's one thing you can do. Another fun trick, if you can't just export it for whatever reason, is any changes you make, essentially make it yours. So I will sometimes go in here and grab this shape and like put it all over my thing. And then I will make it totally transparent. Boom. Now if I hit download, it has an element on it. It has something that I've changed.
Wow.
Yes, I love that trick. I do that a lot. So it's something as simple as that, right? And that's just, I just put, you know, a block. So something like that. Again, your logo is great. Use your logo, put a little bit of text on it, whatever you want. But yes, you can absolutely use these photos from here.
So you go to like see all the stock photos?
So go to, so you would just start like a raw design, and you could use, you know, whatever size you're going to want here, and then go to elements, and then let me go back a tab, design elements, and then right here. So whatever, so you'd put in a search term. So let's say dog, and then you've got graphics, photos, videos, audio, but obviously for your case, you want photos. So again, so all of these ones that are marked as pro, you can see the pop-up it's giving me. This is included in your Canva Pro plan, so you can get that. Now this one is not marked. And so this one might prevent me from downloading it raw. Let's see. Nope, it's going to let me do that one because it's not marked. But this one, on the other hand, this cute little puppy, bothering me. If I go to download it, it might tell me, yep, so it says there's only one image or graphic on your design, can't be exported on their own. And that's where I would go and put that little block on here. And honestly, like, it doesn't even need to be all over your image. It can be right here. Turn the transparency down, download, and now it's going to let me. So that's the trick.
But then, you know, besides beyond the point that you have added the element, if somebody finds that photo on your website, they cannot be like, oh, you cannot use that photo.
As long as you're complicit with how it allows you to download it and use it, it should be fine. Now, if you're selling the photo, right? Like if we're taking the photo, we're reselling the photo, that's a different story. And obviously I'm not an attorney, but as long as you are using it for marketing purposes and you're getting it through one of these, like this is considered a free stock photo if it's not marked. So that should be fine. And then beyond Canva, you know, Canva has them. Pixa Unsplash is really good. And then Pixabay is decent. But honestly, I get most of my stuff from Canva, or that's where, you know, that's the beauty of Dreamlab, right? Is being able to go in there and say, I need a realistic photo of whatever. So that's what I use a lot.
What was the second one you said? Something Bay?
Pixabay, Pixabay. That one's pretty decent too.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Anybody else got anything I can help with today? Awesome. Cool. Well, I will let you guys get back to your day. If you have questions, Canva, or anything else, you know where to reach me. Feel free to ask. If there's anything out there that you want me to talk about in the future or want me to show you, I'm more than happy to do that. Just let me know. But I'm just going to kind of keep cycling through things like this that I think are really helpful and underutilized. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right.
Thank
well, have
you.
a great rest of your Wednesday. Bye, everybody.
Thanks.